go.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears,
Close that.
guiding me through my hopes and fears.
I've got to. Okay.
Tune in daily, don't miss
There's a couple of things I've got to do. I'm gonna build stuff. We're gonna build stuff. We're gonna build stuff today. What's Micron trading? 423. I want to buy more. Boy, everything just shot up. Hopefully I'm live. I don't know. Somebody comment down below if I'm live. I don't have a way to check it. I am. It says I am. Do not disturb. We're gonna build stuff. We're gonna open. First, I'm gonna open up the links that I already have because we've got options data in Trendspider now. Morning, Camilo. I mean, Trendspider just changed the game again with this options data. It's expected move from options, put call ratio. I mean, good God, they just continue to do it. This is interesting. Again, the PBR. Oh, I've got to log in. PBR. Because it went to a straw buy at 18.16. You got up to about $20. Pretty good trade. Good morning, vacation guy. Morning, Joel. Morning, Wendy. I don't have too many notes, but I'm going to build stuff while I'm here. If you missed Lighthook, watch TSEM. Interesting. That's a stock we'll look into. Michael Burry is kind of weighing in. Fannie and Freddie might be an interesting kind of take. Fear and Greed Index. We'll take a look at this. We'll take a look at the markets because I am going to build. Let's see. Let's do it here. FinViz. We're going to go to the screener. And I want to look at the S&P. And I want to, we're going to go to all. And we're going to say, where's the 52-week price? 50-day high low. No, 52-week high low. We're going to say 20% or more below high. Okay? That is 229. Let's see. 229. The S&P 500 are 20% or more below bear market. And this is kind of how you, I mean, this is very simple. I could ask AI this. I could, look at it. But again, this is kind of how you just look at it and say, okay, how many are below this? Let's go back there so that we can see it in the screen. You got technical and all, descriptive and technical. It's just a way of looking at it. Let's see. Let's sort by market cap. And we'll look at that. Boom. Let's see how many are within 0 to 3% below high. 13. Notice anything? 13 are within 3% of their high. Notice what sector? There we go. Weekend was good, Larry. Morning, Jennifer. Got to Darlington on Thursday. Drove the track. My buddy in his Steelers truck got to drive the track. He made a donation to the American Red Cross, and so he got to drive the track. So I got that video that I got to upload and send to him and stuff. God, I hate FinViz pop-ups. But we did that, and then Friday played golf at Country Club of South Carolina. Interesting course. Loved the layout. Loved the course. Not super well kept. There were spots where it definitely was either soaking wet or dried out. But it was, and the greens were shaggy. They had shaggy greens. I think on that day I shot 107, Larry. So I realized, I used to be a 7-iron was 150. Solid 7-iron was 150. If I pumped into it, maybe 160. But 7-iron was kind of the club. And then you go up 10, 20 yards from there to just do it. I think my 7-iron now is like 120. And it's just because I haven't. Curious. Welcome. And Trendspider's awesome. Trendspider is incredible. Yeah. But then we played. I've got this. Let's see. That is raw skin on like 3 of my fingers. I got to get new clubs. I think my clubs, Larry, are from 2005. So I haven't bought new clubs since 2005. I don't think that the distance is the clubs or the balls. I think it's more just my hips don't turn the way, Shakira, the hips don't lie. They don't turn like they used to. So I'm not able to get the ball up. And listen, guys, there's no shame in not being able to get it up as much as you used to. It's just age and pain and hurt. Let me see if there's any Micron, but it's still a buy. It's still a buy. There are 2 things that are higher predictions in the market right now. 1, the Iran conflict will end. Oil is still, price is still uncertain, which will drag on the economy of the U.S. and the world. 2, rate cuts are highly unlikely. In fact, the odds of a rate hike this year instead of a cut will have gone up over 50% by December. Those 2 things Yeah, and that's it. I've got to write that down. 55 gram. Larry, if I asked AI, I had AI do an analysis for me of clubs, and I'm gonna go to the PGA Superstore just opened up in Buckhead. I'm gonna go. I think we've got a Dick's Sports with a bunch of simulators in it, and gave myself a budget of like $2,500, and I'll just go out and buy them. I enjoy playing, and I'm done. You know, I shot 106. I used to shoot in the 70s pretty consistently. It was usually high 70s, low 80s. And I was very kind of getting from 100 to 90 is not tough. Cutting 10 strokes off my game today is not tough. Getting from 90 to 80, it's a little bit harder, but it's absolutely doable. Getting from 80 to 70, I'd probably have to step it up from the blue tees to the white tees and play shorter courses. I just don't have the length that I used to have. And I was never a long hitter. I think my longest drives were like 250, 210, 200 to 210 was kind of my game. Morning, Donovan. And, I played old lady kind of golf. And when I shot 70, it wasn't because I birdied a bunch. I maybe had one or two birdies in a round, and I was lucky to get more than one. So it was mostly par, and every now and then, huh? It's a golf podcast now. It's a golf podcast now. Hey, shit. Nobody wants to hear about the war. Nobody wants to hear about the markets going down, even though today's going to be a good day. I mean, today's going to be a really good day. It's going to be a good day. Here you go. And you want your chance to buy QQQ up 2% under $600? There you go. You got it. So I did want to Fear and Greed Index, the VIX stocks. I don't have. Seeking Alpha is going to kill me, but let's do it. These are upgrades and downgrades. This is part of the Pro. It gives you a great list every day of stocks that went from hold to strong buy. Just in the quant, I'm looking to see if there's anything. Keurig Dr. Pepper. This is interesting. They just reported earnings. No, that's February 24th. I don't know why they went to a strong buy. Let's look at the history of the quant. Yeah, it seems to flounder here as the stock price goes down. No. I mean, Trump 1.0, Nathaniel. I mean, honestly, if you don't remember, this was Trump 1.0. This was 100% Trump 1.0. It hinged on Truth Social posts. Yeah, Trendspider's cool as hell. It does come at a price. I mean, my link gets you the best discount that you've got. You got 32%, I guess. Let me see. Let me use my affiliate link right there, and we'll go to product and then plans and pricing. Yeah, I get you 32% off. So here's the way I look at it, Curious Case. I think you could do, watch my old podcast and watch this stuff and then do it. And let's just go, what's a good question? Give me a question that we can ask. You know what? Let's see if we have a scanner that we can use. Momentum scanner. Let's see about this one. This does energy sector for momentum. There's only one green in there. So the daily stock pick, let's scan the core portfolio. Are there entries in the core portfolio here? No. Let's look at the core. Let's look at an index. Let's go and look at NASDAQ 100 to see if, we've got Intuitive Surgical. We've got Old Dominion Freight, which, by the way, just hit that 216. I mean, this is a freight company, and we dipped down, and now you'll probably get back to that 218. Where's that 218 come from? Let's go look at a weekly. I usually only put those horizontal lines in there. Look, you got their September 2023. You got their April 2024. You got their November 2024. You hit there in March of this year. Yeah. I mean, that's, and Workday software. I mean, this one just, that's, God. No, I don't want any part of that. You know, you got Shopify, by the way. I mean, let's look at the 4-hour algorithm on here. Let's go to the 4-hour and Shopify on the 4-hour. Let's see if it pulls it up. Right on that bottom trend line, which we can probably go to a weekly. See that bottom trend line? We've respected it on the weekly. And if you get to that, back to that top, either, old support, which this was, turns into new resistance, and you could get to that 176 by May. So curious, just make sure, if you want the best discount, just go to the link tree. The link is literally on the screen right now, linktr.ee/daily stock pick. And it's this top link, and they've told me I've got the best offer out there. That's what they tell me. By the way, NVIDIA under 180? Are you kidding me? Do I need to find other stocks? Even though the quant says this is a hold. Look at this valuation. I mean, the PEG ratio is 0.55. I think the only one that's better is Micron at 0.08. I mean, 0.08. Let's look at SanDisk. SanDisk, 0.08 on this PEG ratio going forward. Is memory cyclical? That's the question you have to ask yourself. I don't know. Okay, let's start the podcast. I'm going to do a quick podcast. We'll do this. We'll say, hey, I want a good question for Sidekick. Let's look at a long term. Yeah. Let's look at this chart. Let's create one. Okay. I am looking to buy QQQ for a long-term investment. And I was watching the weekly chart with the trend line that you see. Can you do a fundamental analysis of the stocks in QQQ and determine if there is more upside opportunity, or if the options market is indicating more downside? Look at all available data and give me support and resistance areas for a long-term investment. Let's see what pops up. I mean, that may be a good one. Let's see. Because I am going to go over mostly just, hey, it's a market you want to buy the dip on. And I don't mean to, be crazy like fetching list of symbols and unusual options, fetching fundamentals and 6 more. I think I need to do the deep research to do more than I think 20 symbols or something. But QQQ, it should give us a good Wall Street style analysis of it. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see what this does. And sorry to be so boring this morning, but honestly, I mean, outside of watching Seeking Alpha, just reading about stuff this morning, there's a ton of news that happened, and we can even take, oh, here we go. Let's say your chart, what I see. The weekly chart is well equipped, SMA in teal, SMA 200 in red, EMA 21 in gold, Bollinger Bands, volume by pricing. Price 582 has been pullback zone from all-time near highs, 638. Now is sitting near the EMA 21 zone, historically a key support in bull markets. I mean, we're in a bull market. Oh, thanks, Wendy. It is boring. But hey, I attended my first NASCAR race. That's, you know, RSI near 40 to 50 approaching, but not yet oversold. So there's more room to fall. The value area by your volume by price anchor is sitting around 412, and the value area high is 582 to 590. You're currently at the top of the value area, which is meaningful. So fundamentals, top QQQ holdings, most recent quarter, net margins, you know, Microsoft 47% net margin, Jesus. Nvidia 63%, Amazon sitting down there at 9%, Tesla's at 3%, Costco's at 2%. Are the quality anchors, high margins, strong free cash flow, improving EBITDA multiples. Tesla is the serious concern. Amazon free cash flow is negative for 3 of the last 4 quarters. Heavy CapEx cycle going on. Costco at PE 53 times with 2.9 net margins is richly. Again, it's telling you it's rich. Options market, notable flows. April 10th, 580 put. Neutral at bid. June 560 put. Bearish. March 30th, bearish. Neutral. Bullish. May 15th, 585. Bullish, 640. The largest premium flows are in puts, particularly 1.7 million. The put, again, that's going to be a weight on the market. As people buy puts. Support and resistance 595, EMA 21, 620, all-time high, consolidation range, support levels. Bull case, honest assessment. Core holdings have genuinely strong fundamentals. Free cash flow is massive. If AI CapEx investment bear fruit and macro stabilizes, these names can re-rate higher. Structurally, QQQ is above all major long-term moving averages. Bear case, MACD weekly rolling over. I mean, let's just look at the chart. The MACD rolling over. Options flow skewed toward downside. Tesla at 285 times PE is a landmine. That's it. I mean, you know, Tesla's just been an outlier there. QQQ pulled back 9% from all-time highs already. The trend line you drew is being tested. If 560 breaks convincingly, the 480 to 490 zone becomes the real test for your long-term thesis. Again, if you go down to 480 or 490 on QQQ, that's like a 30% decline. The fundamentals of the underlying holdings are generally solid, but the price rich. The market is not cheap. You know what? Let's look at the with the last earnings cycle. What is the let's say, are earnings growing for the QQQ main? Let's say curious case. I use fundamentals. I have day traded in the past. I've done things like that. I don't use options, but I'm much more of a swing trader these days and long-term investor. And so I use the fund. There's a high conviction zone. I mean, let's go to the the newsletter. The newsletter is the best place to kind of learn about me and kind of my trading style and stuff. But let me pull this up. And this kind of explains, if you just go down and look, where's the high conviction zone thing? God, I must put right here. Okay, so this is kind of the anatomy of a high conviction trade. Fundamentals I use seeking alpha. I mean, I love the quant rating. It lets me, highlight, hey, this is a great fundamental story of a stock. It gives you grade ratings on 5 factors. It's just a quick, easy way to look at stuff. Technicals, I use Trendspider. So you've got that right there. If technicals are good, then I want it to move over into this high conviction zone. And then the market tone. The market tone, we've had energy, we've had AI, we've had memory, we've had market tones in different areas. And as they move into that high conviction zone, you look at the fundamentals, you look at the technicals, and that's where you want to sit, in that high conviction zone. And you can see there's overlaps here. Say you've got a great fundamental story and you got a great technical story, but the market tone isn't there. You're going to wind up in this little green area right there, which isn't bad. You could take a trade on it. Absolutely take a trade. But I'm in the Warren Buffett zone. If you don't want to hold a stock for 10 years, why would you hold it for 10 minutes? So for me, I like some YOLO trades, but I'm not going heavy into YOLO trades. It's that high conviction zone I typically look at. So that probably explains me the best. Let's see. Let's look at these. Earnings growth. I mean, revenue surprise. Look at that. Poof. 8 of the 10 names are growing earnings per share year over year, broadly and healthy. Analyst price target. This is where it gets nuanced. The trend is not uniformly up. The big picture. I mean, that's where Tesla. Bottom line, earnings are broadly growing, all showing double-digit or better earnings per share growth. The fundamental earnings for the engine of the QQQ top holdings is intact. Analyst targets are not uniformly rising. Tesla is a drag. The pattern, earnings are fine, but the market is asking whether current valuations are still justified given macro uncertainty. I mean, that's just, again, you want a great tool? This is a great tool. And you can use Perplexity for this stuff too. So, I shot a 107 on the first day and a 106 on the second day. I played significantly better. My first 9, I think I shot at the Country Club of South Carolina. I think that's what it was called. I shot 46 on my first 9. Then I wound up, shooting like 61. So, and then the second day, I think I shot in the 50s on both 9. The second day I was hurting. I mean, a full disclosure, I had used muscles I hadn't used in a while. So, okay, I'm going to hit record, go and do the podcast now. So, and it's kind of I'll start out. Good morning. It is Monday, March 23rd. Is it Peace Day? I don't know. We're going to go over today's market. There's already, it's a crazy morning already. Just so you know, it's a nutso morning. The taco trade is still in play. I'm going to give you how to look. Are we in a bear market? On my drive, I listened to the Compound and Friends with Jim Lebenthal. Are we in a bear market? It's highly likely we could have hit a full bear market like we did last year already, and we're only in March. And like I said, at the beginning of the year, this year's going to play out just like last year. There's going to be a taco trade in here, and you're in that taco trade. So we're going to go over how to look at this stuff, the fear and greed index. I'll go over a couple of stocks, crypto's rising, and then we now have options data in Trendspider to actually guide you. What's the implied move of a stock based on options data? You can get that indicator in Trendspider right now. So let's talk about what went on this morning, because Trump put out a Truth Social post and then started talking to Joe Kernan on CNBC saying, hey, we're ready to end this war. And he said we've had very good and productive discussions with the Iranians over the past 2 days, aiming at resolving the Middle East war. Trump saw the markets going down. He saw the correction happening. He saw the price of gas going up. He knows the midterms are coming. Nobody knows who he's talking to because the Iranian news agency just came out and said, we're not talking to the Americans. We're continuing this as long as they are continuing aggression. I don't believe the Iranians. I don't believe Trump is talking to anybody. I think he's in panic mode because, again, this is a downward spiral. Opening that Straits of Hormuz is a difficult task because Tim from Stock Talk on Substack, he was a mining expert with the Navy. He was on one of those mining ships, and he specifically talked about, and this is the one question that stuck in my head when he talked about it. He said his commander once asked him, what is the number of mines that a ship needs to be concerned about? And I thought it was 1, but it's not. It's 0. And it's a trick question. If the Iranians are even concerned, throwing it out there, there is no billion-dollar ship that is going to pass through the Straits of Hormuz until they are sure there are no mines. So it's not like this thing opens up. And what I want to show you is a 1-minute chart of how this market can flip on a dime. Okay? Because this is when Trump started talking about, hey, you went from 574 up to almost 600. That 598, that 600 is resistance now. And you've come back down because everyone is unsure. It's just an overall uncertain market. And we're going to talk about how to get back into the market, buying the dip and things of that sort. You can see the 4-hour algorithm got you in at 600, and I thought it was a great buy. I bought a bunch at 600. I was perfectly happy with it, and I am happy with it. But we've broken that trend line, and you see that green line, and I've been talking about this for weeks. The buying opportunities that we've seen since COVID have been down at this trend line. You can see right there, March of 2020. If you bought above it, you're still good. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means the time horizon. You need to be further out. But if you want great times to buy, well, look, this was October 2022, the low after the Fed started raising rates. January 2023, when the stock market really turned around and started bumping up. Then you hit down on that trend line in the October 2023, and it was buy the dip. Then you hit it in August 2024. Again, the Japan unwind trade. That was a great time to buy. And then last year, during Liberation Day, any trend under this trend line, any buy, has been a great short and long-term trade. Your MACD is down below. And what did I do right before this? I went to Sidekick and I said, I'm looking to buy QQQ for long-term investment. And I was watching the weekly chart with the trend line that you can see. And I literally asked it to read my trend line. Can you do a fundamental analysis of the stocks in QQQ and determine if there is more upside opportunity or if the options market is indicating more downside? Look at all available data and give me support and resistance for long-term. And it went through it. In what I see, the chart is well equipped with all of the moving averages, Bollinger Bands, volume by price. The green ascending trend line from 2022-2023 lows, a few key observations. The price, the SMA, the MACD, RSI, it goes over it. Fundamental takeaways. And here's a chart, fundamentals of the top QQQ holdings, the most recent quarters. These are quality anchors, high margins, strong free cash flow, improving EBITDA multiples. Boy, I sound freaking smart. It's Sidekick that's smart. The options market is actually showing you some bearish things. So the options interpretation, the largest premium flows are in puts. The put strikes cluster heavily around 540 to 580. Where you're trading right now, you're at 592. That would be another 10% downside. Support and resistance levels. You can see 595 is the EMA 21, 620, that's the January 2026 pre-all-time high consolidation range. 638, that's the all-time high. Support levels 560 to 565. The options market is clustering around here. 520 to 530, that's the late 2025 base. That would be a huge move back. And then you get into the 400s. Upside versus downside, the honest assessment. The bull case, the core holdings have genuinely strong fundamentals. Free cash flow is massive. If AI CapEx investments bear fruit, again, it's telling you, hey, long term, if these things pan out, this is a great time to buy. The bear case, the MACD is rolling over, real downside. Again, if you look at this, do you want to buy when it's going down, or do you want to buy when it's going up? The bottom line, you can't time these things. The fundamentals underlying are very solid, but priced richly. The market is not cheap if you are entering for a long-term position. The 520 to 540 zone offers better risk-reward entry than current levels based on where the chart options flow, but we saw it in the morning. This can turn on a dime. The current price, 582, is at the upper edge of the value area and below a resistance cluster, not an ideal entry point on risk-adjusted basis. And I said with the latest earnings cycles, are earnings growing for QQQ main participants, and it goes over everything. Key takeaway, 8 out of the 10 names are growing earnings per share meaningfully. This is a broadly and healthy earnings picture for the QQQ basket, and it goes over individual stocks, goes over analyst price targets, goes over the big picture. The bottom line, earnings are growing. Analyst targets are not uniformly rising. Tesla is the drag. The pattern, earnings are fine, but the market is asking whether current valuations are still justified given the macro uncertainty, which aligns with the options flow. It's very, very simple. And you just need to know what the market's telling you. So AM markets, what do you need to know? Well, the Fed rate expectations, short-term yields are breaking away as the surge in oil prices. Air Canada Express incident. An Air Canada Express regional jet carrying about 76 people struck a fire truck landing at New York's LaGuardia Airport. Again, that's not great for airlines. Gold and silver, they're weak. UK government bonds tumble. UK gilts are headed for their worst month since 2022 crisis. That was when Liz Truss was forced to resign, if you don't remember that. Again, investor sentiment weighed by conflict, escalating tensions over the US-Iran. It's all in there. And I want you to remember something. This is Peter Lynch. And he talks about, let's see, do I have closed captions? Let's turn the captions on. About once every 2 years, the market falls 10%. Every 6 years, the market's going to have a 25% decline. We had a 25% decline last year. That's all you need to know. You need to know that the market's going to go down sometimes. If you're not ready for that, you shouldn't own stocks. That's the simple thing. You've got two things in this market. You know the Iran conflict will end. Oil price, still uncertain. It will drag on the economy of the U.S. and the world. It's uncertain, but you know for a fact the Iran conflict will end. We will declare victory, and things will go on. Just like we declared victory from Liberation Day, and then the tariffs were declared illegal. Same thing. The other uncertainty in the market is that rate cuts are highly unlikely in the current scenario. That's going to weigh on the downside of the market as well. In fact, the odds of a rate hike have gone up significantly, with over 50% of predictors thinking there will be a rate hike by December. Those two things will continue to weigh on the market. And so I want to know, are we in a bear market? Well, I could go and ask AI. I could go and ask Perplexity. I could ask Sidekick to go and find me stocks. Let's take it back old school, okay? I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to Finviz, finviz.com. If you don't have this bookmark, bookmark it. And I'm going to ask it two things. I'm going to ask it, okay, give me the S&P 500. And on 52-week or not, I want to know 20% or more below their high. How many stocks are 20%? Because we know a bear market means you're 20% off the previous price. And 20% below the current market, out of 500 stocks, there are 229 that are below 20% or more below. I have this sorted by market cap. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Broadcom, Tesla, Eli Lilly, Oracle. These are probably heavily weighted in your ETFs, and they are also probably single stocks that you very likely own. That's why this market feels so bad, is because these stocks are in a bear market. Now, is Microsoft a screaming buy under $400? I think so. When we look at Microsoft, what does the quant say? It says hold. It doesn't say strong buy. Wall Street says strong buy. They have a price target that's 55% above the price right now. And they've started to take it down, but it's not going down at the same rate. Now, when you look at the valuation of this, is this great? The PEG ratio going forward, 1.69. It's not the best in the market. The sector's at 1.24. Your PE, forward PE, is 22 times forward earnings. For me, that's almost as low as it goes. I mean, let's look at the metrics. Let's look at the valuation. And let's look at the PE, the trailing 12-month PE of Microsoft. And let's just look at it, because over 1 year, you're getting this as cheap as you can. Over 3 years, it's legendary cheap. Over 5 years, this is as cheap as it was during the 2022 year when rates were getting hiked. Over 10 years, you can look at this. It's as cheap as it's been. 2016. That was when, Trump first took office. This was cheap. It was cheap. And what have you done over 10 years? Let's look at 10 years. You're up 604%. So again, when you go and you look at Microsoft, is it a screaming buy? I'd say yes. I'm not looking to sell anything, but I'm also waiting for this to stop falling. And so I want to know that we're in an upward trend. How do I tell that we're in an upward trend? That 200-day on any chart that you pull up. The daily, it started to turn down. We saw this death cross here on January 21st when the stock was trading at $450. And it just shot down. Why? Because of earnings. Look at that gap right there. That gap sits between 444 and 475. That's where I want to start selling. Until then, I'm not selling it because I think I'm giving it away at this point, unless you want to tax loss harvest or do some type of strategy. Again, strategy is key in this market. But for me, something like Microsoft, a screaming buy. Now let's look at stocks that are 3% or below their high. Because 3% below their high, this would be, hey, these stocks just hit 52-week highs. What do you see of the 13 stocks that just hit highs? You probably don't own these in your portfolio. If you do, fantastic, because you're doing great. But of the 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are energy stocks. Why? Because energy's in a crunch. We've talked about this. Energy was the bottleneck. Memory is the bottleneck. So while the market is down only 5%, which is a normal, pullback, you're seeing a huge gap between some of the winners over the last 10 years and some of the new winners, which is energy, memory, things of that. What's interesting is earnings are growing. So you're seeing a healthy economy, but then you go and you look at the fear and greed index right here. CNN fear, just Google it like I did. And what you're seeing is extreme fear. That doesn't promote buying. But Warren Buffett saying, hey, be greedy when others are fearful is this market. Again, if you're a long-term bull, that's it. Is the news scary right now? Yes. But when it comes to markets, sentiment is often a rubber band, and right now it's stretched to the absolute fear limit. We saw it this morning when Trump said, hey, there's peace, even though we don't know who he's talking to. Here's 11 reasons. Reason number 1, the fear and greed index. Reason number 2, the Economist just dropped a cover title, an attack on the world economy. Investors called the magazine cover the indicator. By the time a crisis makes the front page of a major magazine, the selling is usually exhausted. Reason number 3, retail sentiment has seen a massive spike in bearishness. We are currently seeing the lowest levels of optimism from individual investors in over a year. Reason number 4, it's not just retail. Active managers are bailing out. Exposure levels have dropped from nearly 100%. Reason number 5, we are seeing record-breaking outflows from financials. The recent selling in the financial sector was actually more aggressive than what we saw during the 2008 great financial crisis or the 2022 rate hike cycle. So again, financials, they've been beaten down. Reason number 6, Bank of America Global Fund Manager Survey just hit a 6-month low as investor sentiment. Reason number 7, last week saw net outflows from equity ETFs, something that rarely happens and hasn't been seen since the lows of April last year. What was it? Liberation Day. Reason number 8, Goldman Sachs data showed a historic jump in ETF and index shorting last week. We are seeing moves in line with some of the largest jumps in shorting ever recorded. Reason number 8, Bank of America data showed record-breaking outflows from financial funds last week. This exit was more aggressive than what we saw during the great financial crisis and rate hike crisis. Reason number 10, call put skew indicates strong demand for put protection. When everyone is desperate for insurance and will pay nearly anything for it, the bad news is likely already priced in. Reason number 11, short ETFs have the highest level ever. When bets against the market are this extended, the path of least resistance is often higher as those shorts eventually have to cover. Does this mean you go launching into the market? No. But add into this, if we go over to Seeking Alpha and we just look at the VIX, add into this, we can go and look at the VIX. Today, it's at 24. Let's go and look at a 5-year chart because, again, you're going to see this right here, okay? This of April 4th, 2025. That's Liberation Day. That's Liberation Day. And we spiked all the way up to, let's see, it was 52. This, August 2024, that we spiked, during the day, we spiked to 60. This one's only showing about 40, but we spiked to 60. That was the Japan unwind trade. So the VIX hasn't even spiked high. The VIX spiked to 65 in the past. That may be what the market needs to get flushed out. Again, when you look at QQQ, is this a, oh my God, I need to buy? No. Because even though I showed you on a weekly chart that you've had opportunities to buy, it's not when it crosses over just now. Now, if you want to do that, that's fine, because we know Trump is going to do something crazy to push this market higher. And I found this interesting, okay? This is Michael Burry. I like FNMA, Fannie Mae, as a YOLO trade. And he goes by, I stand every word that I wrote regarding Fannie and Freddie in December. Please join the lively discussion in the Fannie Freddie Toxic Twins. Chat. True investors can take heart that further delays alone do not destroy value, as both are now growing book value by double digits. FNMA is not something that you go in with your entire portfolio. It goes with energy. I'm not going all in on energy because I think it's a temporary supply. But you can see this one pulled right back to its 200-day right there at $3.47. Where are you trading right now? $5.47. It's up. Look at this. It is oversold. You can see the RSI. You can see the MACD super low. You can see the Bollinger Bands. They contracted right here, and it was trading at below the 9-day. My guess would have been it would have gone lower at $10. This, to me, if you believe that they will be independent, Burry and Bill Ackman, they're all in. Go and ask AI about their thesis. It will tell you. So yeah, that might be a good trade. That might be something that you want to do outside of quote unquote this market. And this one, if you missed LITE, Cohere, AAOI, watch TSEM. Pure Play Silicon Photonics, we talked about this. Foundry powering the AI optical substack. Let's go and look at it. This is how you look a stock. Okay, I use Seeking Alpha, TSEM. Let's just go and look at it. TSEM. You need to look at the fundamentals. I showed you FinViz. You can look at the fundamentals in FinViz. I want to look at this one and say, okay, the quant says it's a hold. Why? The valuation's expensive. You're trading 55 times forward earnings. The PEG ratio is 3.79. Do I want to own this one? Probably from a valuation standpoint, I think probably not. But the momentum has been phenomenal on this. So while they're talking about missing, the other photonic plays, this one has been soaring as well. And so is it a great buy? What does Wall Street think that it's worth? 159. That's a 2% downside, even though this morning it's up 5%. Why? Because anything that is a reaction in the market is an overreaction. So you can read all about it. You can read the Seeking Alpha quant ratings explanation. Taiwan Semi is significantly overvalued compared to its sector. For instance, its EV sales ratio of 11.29 is much higher than the sector. Growth shows promise. Forward EBITDA growth at 25%, considerably above the sector's 15%. However, its year-over-year earnings per share growth of 5% lags the market. Profitability, fairly strong. EBITDA margin of 32%, which is higher than the sector at 11%. Momentum, great. 1-year price performance, 328%, outperforming the sector median of 4%. Revisions, they're mixed, 4 upward and 2 down. So do I want to listen to this tweet? Well, let's go see about a particular trade, TSEM. Let's see what the 4-hour algorithm gets it. It gets us 152% versus 427%. I'm okay with that. Okay, over the last 2 years, if I can make 152% with some type of safety, I'm okay with that. You could go up here and ask Sidekick what it thinks about TSEM. Again, use the tools that you have. When you see stuff like this, this is what you want to do. And maybe you don't want TSM. Maybe you want to look at the top quant ratings. And the top quant rating in semiconductor is Micron. Now you may say, well, over 1 month, it hasn't done anything. It's only up 0.68%. 6 months, you are up 157%. 5 days, you are down 11%. Every quant rating in this is fantastic. This is a memory name. They blew away earnings. If you go over to Linktree and you look at my newsletter, I put it on here last week. I won't go over it again. I am adding to this position. I think that memory is not cyclical. And if it is, we're not in the cycle where it starts to go down. Year to date, this is up 48%. Again, use the tools that you have. This is premium and alpha picks. Why? Because Micron has been an alpha pick since October. And we can look at since October. In fact, in December, we had Sidekick do an analysis when it was trading at 240 and it said buy. It said buy. And you're at 427. Sure, you got up to that 450, 460 level, and the earnings were a blowout. But if you got this way back here in August, where I put it in my newsletter and I said, hey, memory's starting to be a bottleneck. Why? Jensen Huang told us as he was buying for NVIDIA. You could have gotten this one way back then. Use the tools that you have. I am up over 300% in some of it. But boy, once Alpha Pix got it, it was here at 171. Again, Alpha Pix, a data-driven portfolio. You can see the performance up 293% versus the same time period where the S&P is up 80%. And I just showed you how to take a tweet like this and say, ooh, do I want TSEM? Maybe not. That's premium. Get the bundle. The bundle is fantastic. And you save over $150 on the bundle. Again, use the tools that you have. If you want to use FinViz, you absolutely can. I just like saving myself a hell of a lot of time. Now, I want to bring up a stock that was brought up before, and this quant rating. It's a strong buy here at 4.96. This was a top stock. So if you just go down to top stocks down here, we have found plenty of top stocks. You can see SanDisk and Micron are the top two. They have pulled back. I think these two have significantly more room to run. One that was brought up was PBR. It was brought up last week in office hours. It had moved to a strong buy. If we look at the quant and we say, hey, this one has a history where, it's an energy stock, and it moved to a strong buy here at $18. Say you wanted to trade this one. Well, you find a strategy here in Trendspider, and when it moved from a strong buy on the 9th of March, and you said, well, on the 9th of March, what are we? Well, we were in the 4-hour algorithm. It said it was okay. This was after earnings. You got all the way up to here, $20. That's over a 10% move by just using this. Oh, it moved to a strong buy. It's now ranked as a top stock after its earnings. Let's go and look at it. Now, would I buy and hold this one? It's an energy stock. I don't particularly like energy stocks. And you can see 14 analysts have covered this one. They think it's a buy, not a strong buy, but a buy. But their average price target is $16.82. I don't want to buy this one. But again, this top stock section here in Seeking Alpha, we have found several stocks. We found PSIX. We found Micron. We found a GCT. We found SMCI when that one was running. We found tons in here. Again, this is why I like Premium Alpha Picks. Use the tools that you have in front of you. Now we can talk about crypto because IBIT and others, as Trump announced peace, moved up. Now, this is not one that you want to necessarily, from my history, I don't want to time this. I want to just buy this. Do I think this could drop down below 40? Yeah, it's at $40.15. But $40 for me has been a great buying point. If you just put a horizontal line here at $40, okay, you had plenty of time to sell above 40. After it, this thing is only 24 months, let's say January 2024, so it's just over 2 years. We've got a pretty good idea of where this one trades over the last 2 years. The MACD, it's 5 points below the oscillator. The RSI, 35, completely oversold. And you may say, well, I want a little bit more history. Well, you know what? You can get even the Bitcoin price here in Trendspider. And we can look at the weekly on trend. The RSI is coming off of March 2nd when it was trading at $65,000. Again, under 70,000. I like this. The MACD below its oscillator. It's just hitting up there on the 200-day. And this is 24 hours a day that this one trades. So these weekly charts are 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's a great tool. And in fact, Trendspider just came out with free options indicators, okay? You want to know what what the options market is telling you about a stock? Here, expected move. See where the options market expects a stock to trade by projecting implied range directly on your chart. Look at that. It literally tells you, oh, it's downside, and there's the upside. Upper and lower bounds are plotted as projections from the current price, with green and red shaded areas showing the bullish and bearish expected ranges. Adjust the number of expirations up to 6 to control how far out the projection extends, time frame only. This is amazing. They continue to make this better. And another one, put call ratio, visualize the balance, and you can go and customize these in this custom indicator editor. You could literally take them and customize them for yourself. So this tool, Trendspider, use the tools that you have in front of you. Again, Microsoft up 1.17. The market just opened up about 10 minutes ago. The market looks decent. It looks less excited than it was when Trump made the announcement. I will tell you, Apple for me at under $260, an absolute screaming buy. They have actually shown significant strength in iPhone sales. And this company is run by iPhone sales. And if you don't think that OpenAI and the other AI companies, if you don't think that Apple is putting their 30% AI tax on that stuff, while Apple tries to get Siri right while using Gemini, I think they got an absolute steal. They only paid $20 billion to Google to use Gemini, and they jumped ahead, and it allows them next year, by this time next year, you're going to be using your phone. And guess what? Siri is going to be able to control those apps. And so basically one of the requirements to get into the App Store is to allow Siri to actually control your app. And that's going to be the hub. And so Apple for me and Google, screaming buys. Apple, anything under 260. Google, anything under 300. I love those two. And so let's talk about it. Well, I don't know about real-time options. Well, Mike put a video together for you. And you can go and look at all of this stuff. Okay, this is on Trendspider. So if you have any questions, again, I put all of this stuff out there for you. The tools that you have, they're all on Linktree. Go and check them out. Trendspider, you saw me use it. Premium and Alpha Picks, you saw me use it. You saw me go to my newsletter. That's down there. The only other one that I would tell you about is Pro. It's probably 10% of the people that listen to me. And the Pro version, it gets you a couple of things. It gets you this Pro Quant portfolio, which actually outperforms the equal weight S&P. Again, it's an equal weighted portfolio. I don't like equal weight portfolios. So what do I use this for? I use it to get the stocks. We talked about Micron. We've talked about a lot of other ones. We talked about a lot of the gold stocks. They've been pulled out of the Pro Quant portfolio. They are still in the Alpha Picks portfolio. So again, it moves quicker. Even though the Alpha Picks portfolio probably outperforms this equal weight portfolio, the Pro tool and the Pro Quant portfolio can probably even juice your Alpha Picks portfolio by telling you, hey, they're getting out of gold stocks. They're getting out of the stocks that are in the Alpha Picks portfolio. Let me try and cut those back a little bit and not overweight them. And you get this upgrades and downgrades right here. And this is the Pro section. You get top analyst ideas, upgrades and downgrade. It literally gives you stocks that overnight move from hold in the quant to strong buy. So there's a bunch of different options. Everything's available with the best discounts available here on Linktree. Again, I'm a leading affiliate for all these guys, so they give me the best offers available. So if you have any questions, even my email address is up there. I will talk to you tomorrow for office hours. Again, when you join the newsletter, it's free for the most part. But on Tuesdays at 9 a.m., I have office hours. So if you have any other questions, you want to know about a stock, just ask me. Come to office hours, 9 o'clock on Tuesdays. I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Let's hope this market stays green. Bye. Okay. I thought it was a pretty good, it was off the cuff. So, let's open up iMovie. Anybody that says I don't give free tools, well, there were free tools in there today. FinViz is one of the best. FinViz, I use FinViz so much that it's just sometimes easier for me than going even to a paid tool to just go over to FinViz. Okay. We're going to colorize it. I don't know if I got tan. I don't think I got tan. Miss Maya's playing piano upstairs. take that out. Put in green screen. Oh, I've got to copy. Do. Okay. And I think we're going to, okay, I'll just export it like this. Okay, I got to get this done. I'm going to get out of here. You guys have yourself a great day. Enjoy.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.